Imagine a vessel, born of steel and fire, that defied the very concept of destruction, a ship that sailed through two global conflagrations, absorbing blows that would have shattered lesser craft, only to rise again, scarred but unbowed. This is the saga of HMS Warspite, the battleship that refused to die. Her story is not merely one of naval might, but of indomitable spirit, a testament to the resilience of both ship and crew. Through the thunder of Jutland, the icy fjords of Norway, the sun-drenched waters of the Mediterranean, and the historic beaches of Normandy, she endured. Bombs, torpedoes, mechanical failures, even the relentless march of time. None could break her iron will. Her sailors, with a mixture of exasperation and profound respect, called her stubborn. Admirals hailed her as legendary. History in its grand tapestry would forever weave her as immortal. This is the definitive account of a battleship with a soul, a narrative for every naval enthusiast, history buff, and military historian who understands that some legends are forged not just in steel, but in defiance. The year is 1912. In the bustling shipyards of Portsmouth, England, a new leviathan began to take shape. HMS Warspite, a name echoing ancient conflict, was laid down as part of the revolutionary Queen Elizabeth class. This was the zenith of the dreadnought era, a period of intense naval arms race, where nations vied for supremacy on the high seas. The Queen Elizabeths were a radical departure, designed to be faster, more heavily armed, and better protected than any battleship before them. Unlike their coal-fired predecessors, these magnificent vessels were powered by oil, granting them unprecedented speed and operational range. Warspite, with her 8 formidable 15-inch guns, could hurl a 1,920-pound shell over 20 miles with devastating accuracy. Her powerful geared turbines propelled her to a remarkable 24 knots, a speed previously reserved for battle cruisers. She was not merely a weapon, she was a statement of imperial power, a symbol of Britain's unwavering commitment to naval dominance. Launched in November 1913, her sea trials were barely complete when the storm clouds of war gathered over Europe, signaling the dawn of a new brutal age. By 1915, Warspite had joined the Grand Fleet, patrolling the cold, gray expanse of the North Sea. The air was thick with anticipation as the British awaited the inevitable challenge from the German High Seas Fleet. That challenge came on May 31, 1916, at the Battle of Jutland, the largest naval engagement of the First World War, a clash of titans that would define an era. Warspite, as part of the 5th Battle Squadron, steamed directly into the heart of the maelstrom, her massive guns thundering, her crew braced for impact. In the chaos of smoke, shell splashes, and the roar of naval artillery, fate intervened. A critical steering gear failure jammed her rudder, forcing the mighty battleship into a slow, agonizing circle directly in front of the German battle line. It was a moment of terrifying vulnerability. 15 heavy shells slammed into her, tearing through her superstructure, igniting fires across her decks and inflicting heavy casualties. Yet her gun crews, amidst the inferno, continued to fire. Her engineers, with incredible bravery, fought to regain control. The crew, embodying the spirit of their ship, refused to abandon her. Crippled but unbowed, Warspite limped back to port, a testament to her robust construction and the unwavering courage of her men. Jutland had tested her to her limits, and Warspite had not only endured, but emerged with a legend already beginning to form. The armistice of 1918 brought an end to the Great War, and for a time it seemed Warspite's active service was over. Like many capital ships of her generation, she was mothballed, a silent sentinel of a bygone era. However, the world was far from peaceful. As the shadows of fascism lengthened across Europe in the 1930s, the Royal Navy made a bold and prescient decision. Warspite would return. From 1934 to 1937, she underwent one of the most extensive and ambitious modernizations ever undertaken on a battleship. Her entire internal structure was gutted and rebuilt. New, more efficient geared turbines replaced her old machinery, enhancing her speed and range. Her armor scheme was significantly upgraded, particularly around her magazines and machinery spaces, to withstand modern aerial and torpedo attacks. The most visible changes were to her superstructure, which was completely redesigned, incorporating a new, towering bridge and a state-of-the-art fire control system. She received advanced anti-aircraft armament, including multiple 4-inch dual-purpose guns and the formidable 2-pounder pom-pom mounts, crucial for defending against the emerging threat of air power. Crucially, she was fitted with early radar systems, a technological leap that would prove decisive in the coming conflict. The Grand Old Lady was reborn, a formidable blend of classic power and cutting-edge technology, ready to face the storm of a second global war. When war erupted again in September 1939, Warspite was ready. Her first major engagement of the Second World War came in April 1940 amidst the brutal Norwegian campaign. The Germans had launched a swift invasion, seizing vital fjords and harbors, including Narvik, a crucial port for iron ore shipments. Warspite, leading a flotilla of destroyers, steamed into the narrow, treacherous Narvik fjord, a confined space fraught with danger, lined with cliffs that offered perfect ambush points. Her venerable ferry swordfish biplane, a relic of canvas and wires, launched into the swirling fog. In a moment that etched itself into naval history, the swordfish sighted the German U-boat U-64 lurking near a frozen village. The biplane dove, releasing its bombs with precision. The submarine exploded, marking the first time in history an aircraft had sunk a U-boat in combat. Then, Warspite's mighty 15-inch guns spoke. Her salvos echoed through the fjord, obliterating 8 German destroyers trapped within the confines of the inlet. In a single, decisive day, the Grand Old Lady delivered one of the most devastating blows of the early war, showcasing her renewed power and the tactical brilliance of her crew. She had returned, and she brought fire and fury to the Arctic. In July 1940, Warspite was transferred to the Mediterranean, a theater where she would truly cement her legend. At the Battle of Calabria, she engaged the Italian Navy, scoring one of the longest-range battleship hits in history, a staggering 26,000 yards. This single shot, a testament to her advanced fire control, struck the Italian flagship Giulio Cesare, forcing the enemy fleet to withdraw. Her presence alone was a deterrent, a symbol of British naval supremacy in the region. In March 1941, she played a pivotal role in the Battle of Cape Matapan. Thanks to superior British radar technology and the invaluable intelligence from code-breaking at Bletchley Park, Warspite and her sister ships ambushed the Italian fleet under the cover of darkness. The night sea transformed into a killing field as British battleships unleashed devastating broadsides at point-blank range. 3 Italian cruisers and 2 destroyers were sunk, a crushing defeat for the Regia Marina. Warspite was at the very heart of this decisive victory, her guns blazing, her crew performing with chilling efficiency. But war exacts a heavy toll. During the desperate evacuation of Crete in May 1941, a German bomb struck Warspite, crippling her steering. Though she refused to sink, the damage was severe. Towed first to Alexandria, then across the vast Atlantic to the Puget Sound Naval Shipyard in the United States for extensive repairs, Warspite was patched up and returned to the fight, a testament to her enduring value. Her journey across the Atlantic, a wounded giant seeking succor, underscored her incredible resilience. She returned to the Mediterranean in 1943, supporting the Allied invasion of Sicily, pounding coastal defenses with her heavy guns. Days later, a German Fritz X glide bomb, a terrifying new guided weapon, tore through her hull. 14 men died, and the ship was severely damaged. Yet, incredibly, she would not sink. She was towed to Malta, then Gibraltar, and finally back to Britain for further repairs, her spirit unbroken. By 1944, the Grand Old Lady, though showing her age, was still a formidable asset. Her heavy guns were invaluable for shore bombardment, a role she would perform with distinction during the greatest amphibious invasion in history. On June 6, 1944, D-Day, HMS Warspite took up position off Sword Beach, her silhouette a familiar and reassuring sight to the landing troops. Her mighty 15-inch guns roared once again, unleashing a torrent of high-explosive shells onto German fortifications, bunkers, and artillery positions. For 3 relentless days, she provided crucial fire support, her precision bombardment clearing the path for the Allied advance. Her final shots in anger came weeks later, during the bombardment of German positions at Le Havre. After more than 3 decades of continuous service, through 2 world wars and countless battles, Warspite had fired her last salvo. She was tired, her hull groaning under the strain of years of combat, her decks scarred by shrapnel and fire. But she had stood her watch to the very end, a faithful guardian of the realm. Her guns, once the voice of imperial power, now fell silent, having spoken with thunderous authority for the cause of freedom. Retired in 1945, the war finally over, Warspite was deemed too old and too damaged for further service. She was sold for scrap, a fate that awaited so many of her contemporaries. Her masts were cut, her guns silenced, her mighty engines cold. In 1947, as she was being towed down the treacherous Cornish coast towards the breaker's yard, a fierce storm struck. The tow line snapped, and Warspite, as if by an act of sheer will, broke free. As if choosing her own final resting place, she drifted towards the rocky shore near Prussia Cove. There, amidst the howling breakers, she ran aground. Her bones creaked, her steel groaned, but the grand old lady came to rest. Not in a sterile dry dock, but on her own terms, defiant to the last. Locals came from miles around to witness her final stand. Veterans stood in silent tribute, remembering her glory. Children played in the shadow of her immense wreck, unaware of the history beneath their feet. She resisted the scrapmen for years, her thick steel defying their torches, her sheer bulk making her incredibly difficult to dismantle. Piece by piece, she was eventually taken, but her spirit, her legend, remained. Warspite was never the biggest battleship nor the fastest, but no ship in the annals of naval history ever fought longer, harder, or with more unyielding resilience. She endured the inferno of Jutland, hunted U-boats in the Arctic, outlasted torpedoes, dive bombers, and the terrifying new glide bombs. From the icy North Sea to the sun-drenched Mediterranean, from the Atlantic convoys to the beaches of Normandy, she served where others fell, a constant presence in the maelstrom of war. To her crews, she was more than just a ship. She was stubborn, moody, noble, and undeniably alive. To the Royal Navy, she was a legend, a symbol of British fortitude. And though her physical hull is now gone, her story is etched in steel and salt and memory, a beacon for future generations of naval enthusiasts, historians, and modelers. Her legacy is a testament to the enduring power of human ingenuity and courage. One day, another Warspite may sail again, perhaps a destroyer, a submarine, or something yet unnamed. But her spirit, her indomitable will live on, because Warspite wasn't just a battleship. She was a fighter, a survivor, and a timeless symbol of a nation that would not yield. The story of HMS Warspite is a powerful reminder that history is not merely a collection of dates and facts, but a living narrative of courage, innovation, and sacrifice. If the saga of this extraordinary battleship has ignited your passion for naval history, then join our community. Subscribe to our channel for more in-depth documentaries and untold stories from the past that shaped our present. Share this video with fellow enthusiasts. And let us know in the comments which legendary warship you'd like us to explore next. Until then, stand fast and remember the grand old lady.